Hey guys, I'm Jesse.
And I'm Todd.
And welcome to the Manhattan Project. And we're on a mission to find out what whiskey is going to make the best Manhattan.
So we're going to be building a classic Manhattan, and this recipe dates back to the 1880s. It's basically 140 years old. The exact time has not been determined because there's a little controversy surrounding it, but the most widely accepted version was that it was invented at the Manhattan Club in New York City. The recipe, as far as we know, has never changed. It's 2 parts whiskey to 1 part vermouth, bitters, and a cherry for garnish.
Yep. So let me explain a little bit about how we're going to build our cocktails. Todd gave you the recipe, but there's some things that aren't going to change in the recipe from week to week. The constants are going to be the bitters, the vermouth, and the cherries. So the only thing that's going to change from week to week in the cocktails that we build are going to be the whiskeys. We're going to have 2 whiskeys that we're going to compare. I'm going to be building 2 drinks with one of them. Todd's going to be building 2 drinks with the other one. We're going to swap a glass, and we're going to sample a Manhattan cocktail of each of the 2 whiskeys that we're going to be bringing to the table each week.
So tonight we're starting. I'm going to be pouring the George Dickel 12 year. It is a 90 proof bourbon.
Yep. And a lot of you guys I know are going to be familiar with this one. The Woodford Reserve, it's a 45.2% alcohol content, is going to be what I'm going to be building mine with.
Right. So on that, we're going to start.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So we're going to start off with our 2 ounces of our bourbons.
Dashes of bitters, right?
Yep. So we're going to be doing in our cocktails, some people call for 2, some people call for 3. We've settled on 4, so we're going to be doing 4 dashes of bitters in ours.
So this is the part where we want to time it, just so we want to get the ice in there at the same time so that the dilution rate is exactly the same, or as close as it can be. You first, sir.
Okay. So we're going to fill this mixing glass up all the way to the top, almost to the point where it's looks like it's going to spill over. This will melt down and dilute into the cocktail. All right. So we want to stir this for, I'd say maybe 30 seconds. So what we want to do is we want to stir this to the point where it's diluted to an optimal drinking level. It's chilled to an optimal drinking level. We're not going to be serving these drinks over ice. We're going to be serving them neat in a rocks glass, also considered being served up. So it's going to already be chilled. It's going to be already diluted. And we want it to be at its ideal drinking level as soon as we pour it into the glass. Okay?
So I think we're right about there.
Yep.
You've been yammering on and on. It's been 30 seconds.
I know. Okay.
So we're going to try and pour each other an equal amount. Now, if you would, Jesse, explain the glasses and how these were likely not the proper glasses they used for the Manhattan.
Yeah, so we're using essentially double rocks glasses, but probably the more traditional type of glassware would have been a coupe, which is, you know, kind of a small, bold glass with a little bit of a stem. And again, since these are being served up, there's no ice. They're not going to be chilled any more than they are right now. You know, serving them in a coupe where you have a stem to hold on to allows the drink to stay colder longer because you're not imparting any additional heat from your hand onto the glass and therefore warming your drink.
And to be fair, two grown men have no business trying to reach on to a little stem.
I can put my pinky out just as well with this as I could with that.
Plus, I could see you like pouring it in your ear or something.
I am not very coordinated. All right, so let's go ahead and swap. So Woodford on the left, Dickel on the right.
On the right.
Boom.
Okay.
All right, let's try yours first.
All right. George Dickel it is. You can already see there's quite a color difference between the two.
Yep. I'm getting a little bit darker color on the Woodford, a little bit lighter on the Dickel.
Right.
I definitely see that in yours as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Smells yummy.
It does smell good. Let's give it a taste.
All right, so this is my first experience with the Dickel.
Okay.
It makes a good Manhattan, I'd say, all in all.
It does. I'm not going to lie. There's really not a whole lot about this cocktail that's blowing me away.
Exactly.
It's good, but I'm just not, I'm not knocked off my feet.
Right. No, I agree.
All right. Let's give the Woodford a try.
Okay. What are these notes you're getting off of this? And yes, we know this is not the right glass for this, but
we don't care.
We don't care. This is in relation to a Manhattan, not the liquor itself.
So obviously you're going to smell the ingredients of the Manhattan other than the whiskey.
Right.
But some of the things that I'm getting that I didn't get out of the Dickel, I'm getting a little bit of vanilla. I'm definitely getting more of an oaky, aroma.
Right.
Let's see how it tastes.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, right off the bat.
I'm definitely getting the oak too.
It's much more balanced.
Right.
It's got a much deeper flavor profile. It's just, I get some extra sweetness that I didn't get with the Dickel. I get almost even like a little bit of a brown sugar note out of this one. Much more enjoyable.
Right. Oh, I agree.
What do you think?
I totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to go back to anything and try it again, or?
Yes, I'd like to do them both again.
Okay.
Dickel first. That becomes a problem with this, is that you're comparing things often. It's hard to grade things because you're comparing it. There's no, the frame of reference is just, it's like
these two.
These two.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is, as we grow and, we start to try more things, we'll have a greater, frame of reference to, base our, judgments off of.
And please understand, this is not like a head-on competition of these two. We're really basically just grading these on how they work in our system of Manhattan making.
Yeah. So let me touch on that real quick. So one of the criteria that I think we're going to try to stick to when we're picking whiskeys to compare each week, we want to pick things that are somewhat similar, but they don't have to be the same. They don't have to be the same mash bill. They don't have to be the same thing with a different label on them, right? We want to try to stick to two whiskeys that are in a similar price point and two whiskeys that are at a similar proof point.
Right.
We don't want some barrel proof 60%er, going up against some, bottom shelf 40%, 45%. It's just going to be no way to compare those two fairly.
Yeah, and that being said, one of our major rule is going back to the original Manhattan. It was most likely made with Scotch. We are not
originally, yeah.
Right. We're not doing that. We're making it with American-made whiskeys, and we'll get into what qualifies as a whiskey later. But that's going to be our role because we're Americans and we love our whiskey. So.
Yep.
So we rate these on what we call the Bung Hole Scale.
Yep.
Please keep in mind, the Bung Hole Scale is the number of bung holes. It has nothing to do with the circumference of the diameter of the bung hole. So when we give something a 9, it's not a 9-inch bung hole. It's just 9 out of 10. So
yes.
So let's do it.
Okay. So I'll grade the Dickel first.
Okay.
Again, not blown away by it. It makes an okay
Right.
Manhattan. It's certainly drinkable. I wouldn't turn it away.
Right.
I don't know if I would pay 10 or 12 bucks at a bar for something that was made with this, to be honest. So out of 10, I think I'm going to give this guy 5.2.
Okay. I'll go with that.
Okay. So I think we're in agreement. Nothing fantastic. Makes a decent drink, but not overwhelming.
Yes.
Okay. So why don't you do the Woodford?
The Woodford, as far as the two of those, is the superior. Is it mind-blowing? No. But I have it up in probably the low sixes, 6.2 maybe.
Okay. So I'm in the same mindset. I think comparatively it's significantly better.
Yes.
But in the overall frame of reference, we're going to be tasting so many of these different cocktails. Right. I don't want to give something too high of a rating, but in comparison to this one, I think, honestly, I'm at like a 5.9. Okay. I don't think I'm quite at a 6. It's good. It's not blow my socks off either. You know what? I'll give it a 6. I give this guy a 6. A little bit lower than yours, but I think we're both still in the same ballpark.
We're in the ballpark that we don't need to average it. It's a 6. We'll go with that. I mean, eventually we're going to run across something that I'm blown away by, and you're just like, nah. So we'll come up with our system's going to be, we'll average it out because we're looking for different things. You might have an idea of there's no recipe of what a Manhattan should taste like. It's all your perception of what it should taste like.
Yeah.
So for me, it's probably going to be more like, this is unusual, this is good, it makes a great Manhattan. And on that day, you might be like, well, this is not what a classic Manhattan will taste like. So we're gonna butt heads as far as the score goes.
Right.
So we'll have to average it out.
Yep. So all things considered, if you guys happen to find something entertaining about what we've done tonight, please let us know down in the comments. If you guys have ever had a Manhattan made with either of these two spirits, let us know that also. And lastly, if there's something that you guys want to see us bring onto the channel, and compare against something else, let us know that as well.
Right.
We'd love to hear anything you guys have to say.
Exactly. That's about it for tonight.
Okay.
Yep.
Till next time.
Good deal.
Cheers.
Cheers.